All right, today we're going to be going over function notation. Our goal is to evaluate functions in a function notation for specified values in the domain. All right, so you're normally used to, when we talk about a function, you're looking at an equation, and that's usually set up as something like y equals x minus 2. And the new way we're going to do it, which is called function notation, is we're going to change it. Instead of saying y, we're going to say function of x is equal to x minus 2. And if I said the value of x was 7, you're going to substitute in 7 both times. So your solution, to find it, you're going to say y equals 7 minus 2 when you got the answer of 5. Now you're going to, instead of saying f of that, or instead of saying y equals, you're going to say f of, and instead of x, we'll put 7, because that's what they told me the value of x was. We're going to still put in that x value of 7 minus 2, and we're still going to get the answer of 5. So no matter which way you look at it, you're still substituting in the same value of x into the same function. Instead of y, we're using f of x, or the function of x. Function machines and function notation. A function can be thought of as a machine that assigns one input to every output. So the name of our function, f, stands for the name of the function. I can use g, that would be the name of the function. H would be the name of the function. The x value is referred to as the input that tells us what number we're going to plug into the function. The function, which is the equation that we're going to be using, that's this part here. And then our output is whatever we get as a result for that function when x value is plugged into the equation. All right, so in other words, f of x is the same as y. The x merely represents substitution for the x value in the function. The result or answer for the function is the same as the y value. So, in other words, f of x is the same thing as y. So this says find and illustrate f of 2 and f of negative 1 using the function machines below. So we're going to input the first input, which is 2, into the function. So think of it like 3 times, instead of x, we're going to input the value of x, which is 2, plus 4. Well, 3 times 2 is 6, plus 4 is 10. So we would say when we use the function with an input of 2, we get the answer of 10. Okay, let's try it when we're using negative 1. So we put negative 1 into the function. So instead of x, we're going to use our input. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3, plus 4 is positive 1. So we say when we use the function with an input of negative 1, we get an answer or an output of positive 1. These are just examples. Input, you're going to play a function, and then you're out. If I have 2, x value, plug in, and you get your out. So f as in the function, x is our input. Our function is 3x plus 1. That's what's going to give us our output. So, all right, so let's go ahead and try this first one. It says evaluate the function when x is negative 4. So when negative 4, for this function f, we will do negative 2. We will multiply by the x value, that's our input. So when we input negative 4 as our x value or input into the function, we will get, so that's 8 minus 3, which is, or 8 minus 5, which is 3. So when we input negative 4 into our function, we will get the answer of 3, or our output. Okay, you can pause it and try it on your own. So when we use an input of 0, we will multiply negative 2 times the input minus 5. So when our function has an x value of 0, our output is going to be negative 5. Okay, evaluate the function, find the value of g of x when x is negative 4. So if you notice, instead of calling it f, this time we're calling it g. That's just the name of the function. So g of negative 4, is equal to negative, and then we input our x value, minus 1. So when our function g has an input value of negative 4, our output is, let's see, 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay, let's try another one. Yeah. All right, so let's try again. So our function g has an input of 3. We will do negative, input our value of x, input minus 1. So when we have a function of g with an x value of 3 or an input of 3, we will get an output of negative 4. All right, so this one says, given the function h of x equals 3x minus 2, find x if h of x equals 4. So if you notice, this one's very different because it's not asking us what x is, it's asking us to find x. So if you notice, remember, this is another way of saying y. So this really said y equals 4. So we're going to substitute in the 4 into this location. So now we have 4 equals 3x minus 2. So we're going to go ahead and solve this. So we're going to add 2 to both sides. That'll give us 6. We're going to divide by 3 on both sides, and x will be the value of 2. There's our answer, x equals 2. If you want to be very specific, you can say h of, well, remember our x value is 2. When we have a function h and we use the x value of 2, our answer is 4, which is what they gave us earlier. Or you can just say the x value answer. Okay, let's try another one. So this time they gave us, again, this is the answer, right, of 10. So we're going to put 10, or output, to find what the input was. Okay, so we're going to subtract 4 on both sides. That gives us 6. We're going to divide by negative 2. That gives us negative 3. So our x value is negative 3. So g of negative 3 is equal to an output of 10. Because remember, they told us the output earlier. They're just asking for the input. Our domain is our input. We put it into the function. We do our calculations. That will give us our output, or our range. So those are other terms you might see. So find the range, which means your output, for g of x is equal to 4x plus 5 for the domain. So they're giving us 3 different domains, so we have to find 3 different ranges. So I'm going to input 4 times negative 3 plus 5. I'm going to do 4 times 0 plus 5, and we're going to do 4 times 2 plus 5 to find each of the outputs. Okay, so that's negative 12 plus 5 is negative 7. That's 0 plus 5, which is 5. And that's 8 plus 5, which is 13. So my range is, sorry, this did not come out very well, is negative 7, 5, and 13. Okay, our output is the y value. The name of the function is whatever letter they gave us, and our input is the x value. That tells us what we're putting into the equation. So this one is already done for us. We just have to identify it. So we have to understand this is telling me the x value, right? Because it's f of x. So they're giving us the x value. So let's look at the table. Here's the x value. Remember, x is here. X value is 2. It's asking us to find the answer. Well, what's the output? So for f of 2, it's equal to 9. Try another one. It says find f of 0. Again, that's the x value. So f of 0, look for x, 0. That's going to give us an answer of 5. This one says if f of x, so remember that's basically saying y. If y is 1 or f of x is 1, so here's f of x. If it's 1, what's the x value? Well, the x value was negative 2. Okay. Same thing, but this is on a graph. So let's try the first one. Okay, so we have find f of 4. So remember, that's like saying 4 is our what? Our x value. So let's look on our x value, and we're going to look for x is 4. So here's x is 4. Well, where's the y value? Well, the y value is here. So what number was that at? That was at 1. Okay, let's try the next one. Find f of -3. So remember, -3 is our x value. So let's go to the x value of -3. So what's the y value? Well, it's here. And what number is that at? -1. Okay, let's try one more. Find f of x equals 0. So this basically means y is 0. So let's look for y values of 0. So here's the y value of 0. Remember, y's are this axis is a y. So y is 0. What's the x value? Well, we actually have, let's see, one here, 3. X equals 3. And let's see, do we have any others? So here's one that we just found, and then there's one there also. So it's also -2. So there's no other points here, and here is where they hit at 0. Okay, let's do one last one. So this is my x value. So let's look where x is 0. X is 0 here. Where's the point? It's at 1. Okay, next one. F of x is, so 4 is our x value. Here's x. So what's the y value? The y value is -1. Okay, let's try the next one. F of -2. So -2 is the x value. Well, what's the y value? 1. Okay, let's try the next one. If f of x, so that tells us y is equal to -4. So let's go -4 on the y value. Or is it passing through the line? It's passing here at -4. Okay, we'll do one more. And then it's x if f of x is, so again, 0 is equal to the y value. So when y is 0, well, it hits here at 3. Is there any other? Also here, we're going to estimate that at -2.5. It doesn't hit anywhere else, just those 2 points on the line. Hopefully that makes sense. Thank you.